So what is an IDE? So the full form of IDE is Integrated Development Environment, and it is basically an environment or a combination of tools like the text editor, the debugger and the compiler. So in today's episode of Simply Explained, we'll be trying to learn what is IDE, what are debuggers, what are compilers, and what is the actual term all about practically. So without wasting time, let's start with the video after sponsors. The first thing that you do while writing a code or programming is to actually write the code using your keypad. So you will be using your keyboard to write the code, which can be written in something like a software. For example, you can use Notepad or Notepad++. So this thing is known as text editor. Whenever you program, you need to write something somewhere that is known as a text editor. Now once the program is written, it should be converted into machine language. So usually computers understand binary, that is 0 and 1, that is 0 stands for low voltage and 1 stands for high voltage or 5 volts. So there are various languages like assembly language and binary language and machine languages basically. These languages are the only ones that computers understand. They cannot understand your program or even C, C++, Python. Computers are electronic machine and they understand only voltage fluctuations and things like that. So whatever you have written in the text editor, it may be Python, Java, C++, C#, C, all these languages should be converted into machine language or binaries or things like that, which computer can understand in its own terms. So this is the reason we need a compiler. A compiler is something that basically turns your code into machine language or machine understandable code. So it may be a Python code, Java code, C++, C# or any other programming language. It will be converted into things that computers understand, and the compiler will convert your code and compile it. So for example, if you write a Java code, the compiler will compile the Java code and convert into Java classes or Java files. If you write a Python code, the compiler will convert it into a Python file which can be executed by the computer. We all make errors. So now comes the debugger. A debugger is an application that detects error and stops the program right before the error so you can understand what is going on. A debugger is basically a program that stops the code at a particular line and it detects the errors and tries to solve the error and find the error in the first place. A debugger is a computer program used by programmers to test and debug a target platform. For example, if you are writing a code in Java, a Java debugger will basically test your code and it will run it on a Java platform, and if there are some errors, it will show you the error and the line where the error was found. For example, if you have missed a semicolon, then it will show you a syntax error and will allow you to fix the error right before executing the program. This allows you to fix the problem before compiling. Now coming back to IDE. An IDE is basically a program that has all these features, from a text editor to a compiler and even debuggers and various other virtual environment testing systems. And an IDE is specially designed for a particular language and can have multiple languages as well. For example, Android Studio is basically an IDE for Android app development, and it allows you to code your program in Java and various other programming languages like Kotlin, and it supports virtual environments and debuggers and compilers and various other things. So a IDE is a collection of software which is used to program, compile, decompile and even test the programs, debug them, and various other things. Depending on the features of the IDE, there are tons of things available. One of the most important feature that programmers like in IDE is auto suggestion. So an IDE might suggest you the next syntax or the code. So basically, for example, if you are using the print code and if you want to print something in Python, the code will be very simple. So you can use this kind of code, but an IDE which is trained to compile and work with Python will suggest you the syntax and you can directly edit it without typing in the actual program itself. Similarly, Java has tons of classes and various subclasses. Now, a Java compiler will basically hint and suggest the user or the programmer to use certain subclass, class or syntax. This will allow him to program faster. So I hope you understood what is an IDE. An IDE basically stands for Integrated Development Environment, and as the name suggests, it is an environment which has a combination of tools including text editors, compilers, decompilers, and in fact debuggers, and sometimes virtual environments like Android Studio has. So I hope you understood what is an IDE, and in case if you want to learn more tech terms, then I think you should subscribe to our YouTube channel. And in case if you are interested in technology and if you are into tech, then this is the channel that you are looking for. I would strongly recommend you to hit the bell button to receive notifications as soon as we upload new videos. Again, it's me Priyank and you were watching an episode on IDE of Simply Explained on YouTube.